Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
If you like a lot of wrestling on YouTube, join our cult. Hello and welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast, usually brought to you by myself, Jack and Ross, but two people are on holiday. Well-deserved holiday this week, so we joined special guest this week, just for you people at home, or on the bus, or whatever you do with your mask on, Mr. Adam Pacitti.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. The man with a plan, and that plan is to pay us sometimes. And also, the myth, the legend,
all right,
Mr. Tom Campbell. How you doing, Tom?
I'm good, thank you. Now, Maffew and I, we meet on a weekly basis, but I think this is the first time me and Adam Pacitti have interacted since, I think, 1997.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
I've seen your face in person for the first time there in 5 months. Just a moment ago, you're in the other office next door. It's been an awful... It has been that long, hasn't it? That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
apart from
March.
one Skype call.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a disgrace.
It's been. We did the whole Wakanda handshake, which is the new thing now, where you bump elbows. Is it the full Wakanda handshake that people do? The one they do in the Marvel movies?
Not a clue.
Okay, fine.
How are you, Maffew?
I'm doing crap, actually, but I'm very
You're under the weather.
I'm high in spirit.
It's not the dreaded COVID, is it?
So that's 2319.
No, it isn't. It's the feeling of food poisoning that won't sod off. And I feel really bad.
Go through the symptoms.
Feel like I've got food poisoning. I went to my friend's meet-up on Friday, and he made lovely homemade stew, his own bread, and everything else like that. And I went home that night, and I had that feeling of, oh, I'm ill. So it's almost fun because you have those really weird dreams. And it's followed up by the day after, waking up like after 4 hours non-sleep and being on the toilet for 6 hours and just waiting for it to come out of both ends. And I was on the toilet that long. I listened to 2 Something to Wrestle With podcasts the entire way through. And one of them was the WrestleMania 19 episode, which is almost as long as WrestleMania 19. So I'm all right, don't worry.
You're making good use of your time, at least. In a way.
You know when you've been on the loo too long is when you get through 2 adverts for Blue Chew read out by Conrad. It's when you've been on the loo too long.
Are you feeling any better at all, Maffew?
Yeah, today I did some star jumps, so I'm tickety-boo.
Was that before or after the toilet?
Oh, that was it. It was squeezing out of me like a tube of toothpaste. But how has your health been, Adam Pacitti?
I've been a mess. I think everybody, you mentioned before we started that you were getting comments saying that from people who were just worried about me, saying I look like death warmed up. But those streams, so it'd been like 5 months of them, and there's no way of doing that and getting into any regular sleeping pattern because obviously, starts at 1 a.m, goes until either 3, 4, or if I do some Twitch after, which I was doing, like 7 a.m. sometimes. And then there's I've got a day to recover, and then I have to do it all again because it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then at peak I was doing 7 a week, and because ad rates have been so down, we've been really honest about the fact that it's been a tough old time. And so people have been really generous in subscribing on the Twitch and all that sort of stuff and super chats and all of that stuff has been so appreciated. But I realized how unhealthy it was making me. It really, really did. I was working crazy hours, but on top of that, I had this sort of brain fog, which meant I wasn't really working in any sort of productive way. So I was just cracking on with stuff and then making loads of mistakes and having to fix it. I've got back into it now, and I went to bed yesterday, 10:30. I slept until about 6:30 this morning. I feel amazing. I feel like a new person. So yeah, sorry, I gave you a very long answer there, but I'm genuinely I realised that it was a mistake to do it for that long. I enjoyed a lot of it, but it was kicking the crap out of me, and now I'm a human again, and I've got a week off next week. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've got a week off.
Well, I'm glad that you've given us all that information because I know there are people, as I said, are looking at you going, is he okay? I'm like, I don't know. He's not talking to us because he's too busy streaming. He's on TV more than Jim Carrey in The Truman Show.
Just to say, you already know this, but if I hadn't been doing that, would I have completed Spyro 1 and 2? Would I have completed Until Dawn? Would I have completed Virtual Springfield? No. I didn't even complete it. I didn't get all the cards. It's rubbish. It's fun. There's a lot of nice references in there, but it's not a game, is it? The trading
it's like a museum. You know what it's like? It's like in Carter. Do you remember Encarta?
Bloody, I loved Encarta.
It's basically
Great
Encarta. Yeah, it's that. It's because they have the adventure game within Encarta, and Virtual Springfield is exactly that.
Have I ever told you about the game that I made up? Somebody's going to steal this now and monetize it somehow. I've been trying for about 15 years. When we were in high school, me and my mate Tom Scallon came up with a game. He used to call it Wikifindia, which is rubbish. I came up with the name Clickipedia, which is obviously really, really good. The idea is, right, and I hope this doesn't exist. Somebody's going to be in the comment being like, oh, I used to play that as well. Shut up. I came up with this 15 years ago. You choose a page to end on, let's say Dave Benson Phillips, and then you both press random page, fastest person to get there, and bonus points for the fewest clicks to get to Dave Benson Phillips using only blue links within the body of the text itself is the winner. Isn't that a brilliant game?
I like that.
I'm going to stream that. I'm going to stream that on Saturday night, you know.
Yes!
No,
I like it.
No, it's the last one, Maffew. It's the last one. It's a goodbye. It's a farewell stream. We've done a T-shirt. I'm going to play Habbo Hotel. I'm going to watch Woolworths adverts. I'm going to watch QVC. It's going to be a whale of a time. Tune in, twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Wrestling.
Don't tune in.
Not a bang, but a whimper.
Sorry, yeah. Are you well, Tom?
I might have broke my toe, but apart from that, I'm all right.
What have you done?
Just punch not punch, because that's my hand, isn't it?
Punch your toe?
I punched my own toe out of sheer desperation. No, just on the phone and just nonchalantly just kicked the bed as I was walking round. And caught my toe on the bed, that's bad. Didn't think any more of it until the following day when I woke up and Alex went, "What's wrong with your foot?" I said, "I don't know, it's fine, isn't it?" "Oh, it's not," and it was all blue. So that's good,
show
isn't
feet.
It?
Come on, Tom, show feet. Get them out. Get the tootsies out.
Hey, only on my OnlyFans, nowhere else.
All right.
Gotta make that lockdown money somewhere, haven't I?
No, when Tom's streaming the Microsoft desktop or Maze Sim, you can see it. Good times.
If I'm streaming anything, it's retro Sonic the Hedgehog games. That's my jam at the moment. Big fan of that.
Yeah, I watched some of it. You were playing the level that was my favourite because I really like arcades and fruit machines and stuff. You were on the one with the three reels.
The Casino Night Zone, sir.
That's the one. Really fun level. I used to get pissed off because the countdown would be happening, but I just wanted to play the bloody fruit machine game. I didn't want to get to the end of the level. So much fun.
Let me on the fruit machine.
Yeah. Should we talk about wrestling news?
Because enough of pulling the one-arm bandit. We're going to move on to the news section now. And it's been a good and bad news week. So we're going to go up and down like a horse draws, just so everyone's well aware. Tessa Blanchard apparently demanded $150,000 to return the Impact World Championship belt, which I think if you added up all the people's wages would be... anyway, I'll move on. Obviously, Impact then, well, it doesn't cost that much to get a new belt, hun, so have fun.
She's posted it back now, right? They said that her people, whoever those people are, said that she didn't have the address, and so that's why. Was that this week? That feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. What a difference a week makes.
It's been sent back, but a delivery driver just threw it into Scott Damore's garden, and they're yet to find it.
With neighbour.
WWE told the shareholders that they were only expecting to make $10 to $12 million given the whole lockdown situation. However, because they saved so much money via not transporting stuff around, via touring, stayed right in that little performance centre, they actually made $40 million, 40. Good for them. Another win for the little guy. Speaking of which, The Rock has bought the XFL for $15 million, which is a bit odd because I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon sold WWE stock for about $100 million to be able to restart it, and you only got 15 back. So I don't think The Rock's bought it. I think CEX has taken it. Any thoughts here of the mighty XFL?
Well, there's a bit of a kickoff with that because apparently the consortium that were sorting the liquidation are complaining that they could have made more money out of it. So they're going to put in a bid to stop The Rock. You can't stop The Rock, can't stop The Rock. But they are pursuing for more money, essentially. So, but whether or not that will come about, I don't know. Joe Hendry had the tweet of the week when it came to the Rock buying the XFL, where he has figured out that we are all just non-playable characters in The Rock's career mode. It's pretty much what's going on. It's just...
Yeah, I like that one. Wilfred Brimley passed away. Famous actor / Quaker Oats spokesperson, most known for being the diabetes meme in later years. His last tweet was a wrestling one. People asking him, what would you be if you were a wrestler? What would your name in wrestling be? Popular choices included, this is his tweet, The Underquaker, Brimstone, didn't get that one.
Brimley.
The Diabetes, or Beastus, sorry, I messed that up. Or my personal favourite, Kilford Brimley.
Nice. So strong.
Well played. Thank you very much, Wilfred. Everyone should go home now and watch The Thing, the original, not the one with whatever. UK wrestling legend Rollerball Rocco passed away.
He did. My dad messaged me about this. I found out via my dad, Nigel. It's his birthday today, by the way. Not by the time the listeners have got this on. It was yesterday, but he messaged me, and I got the thing up here because I knew we were going to talk about it. And I said, he said, sorry, just makes you realise that we all get older and time moves quickly. One of the most entertaining wrestlers that I'm sure could have made decent money if he went the way of Davey and Dynamite. Always a good work rate that preferred to be a heel when he could quite easily have been a face. So a very touching tribute from my father there, and that's how I found out about it. He's a big British wrestling fan, big British wrestling. I've just sent him a nice British wrestling book for his birthday and one on martial arts as well.
You forget how much of an impact Rollerball had on the scene. Like he talked, there were people, you talk about the matches he had with Dynamite Kid and Marty Jones. Like he was there on the ground floor with Jushin Liger. Like this, and you have wrestlers to this day who owe it to Rollerball Rocco, and people of that ilk. World of Sport is massive for that. Like the amount of Desert Island Graps I've done with guys from the States who put so much love towards World of Sport, and guys like Rollerball Rocco paving the way. It was really sad that he went this week.
He's a really handsome older man as well. He looked amazing for his age, didn't he?
He aged very well, did Rollerball Rocco.
You're like, oh, when was that photo taken? Like early 2000? Like a few years ago? Like,
amazing.
So yeah, thank you, Rollerball Rocco. Like I said, the news going up and down this week. Shane Thorne has gone back to NXT after a highly successful run on Raw of having Paul Heyman not knowing what to do with him. Now Brucey P's come in. He also doesn't know what to do with him. So back to NXT you go. Thanks for coming, Shane.
Well, he's not that interesting, is he? So.
He used to send me clips of himself messing up before he got signed. Nothing but love for Shane.
I feel like a wanker.
You do. Joey Janela has banned me from Game Changer Wrestling events after I uploaded a clip of him falling on AEW Dark, and Taz, the best commentator in the business, yelling, "He fell on his ass!
I love
he
that.
fell on his ass!"
Taz came across as so likeable in that clip, didn't he? He was having a ball.
Absolutely. You know who wasn't having a ball? Check out that segue. Shawn Michaels' old tag partner, Marty Jannetty. I think we'll be very brief on this because the last update we got was that the police were investigating. It turns out you can't just go online and say stuff like this. You know what? I won't read it word for word. You can go find it. Make this a nice, happy one.
I did a news video on it this morning. I've done 4 minutes on it today. Yeah.
Awesome.
We weren't going to do it because he's obviously not a well man. But now the police are looking into it. I think it's become fairly noteworthy news. But the guy, he's just in a very, very bad place. He's been in a bad place for a long time now. And I actually follow his Facebook page and I look at the stuff that he's posting just out of, I don't know, I guess some sort of morbid curiosity. But he's always posting about these girlfriends that he's got all across the country. He's got a girlfriend in each state, and this is one of them. And it sounded like he was threatening her, as well as admitting to killing one or perhaps more people throughout his life. So I think we should stop using, he's the Marty Jannetty of the team, because it might end up taking on a different meaning.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Is there another tag team where they've had one wrestler that's done really well and one that hasn't, that we can...
Jesse and Festus, I guess?
The Jesse
Gallows went on to do all right, didn't he?
I was going to say, who was the good one of that?
Oh, Fest, are you having a laugh? Slam Master J. No, who else?
Bossman and Buchanan. Actually, no.
The New Rockers, because it'd be the only time in history someone could say, you know what, he's the Al Snow of the team.
He's the Al Snow compared to the Marty Jannetty of the Marty Jannetties. Oh, that's tag team inception. Leave it in the comments. Who should be the new Marty Jannetty?
Yeah, you let us know. WB planning SummerSlam in Atlantic City, New Jersey, as I knock over a bunch of stuff on my desk. Over the past week, WWE has been looking for a new location for SummerSlam. This is all a press release, isn't it? Blah, blah, blah. I've been told 2 different sources over the weekend that the feeling is SummerSlam will be happening outside the PC. It's going to be maybe in the northeast part of the US. No clue if there's going to be any fans there. Okay.
It's been rumoured as being all over the place. There's been the beach, there's been a boat, there's been everywhere, right? And I don't really know much about New Jersey, but I think with an outside attendance of 500, which they're legally allowed to do, they could create a pretty good atmosphere. So
that was the last time they checked. Was the governor of New Jersey says indoor, I think that was shortened to 25. Outdoor can be up to 500 as long as social distancing is maintained. So a nice outdoor show as the sun is setting. If you follow Game Changer Wrestling, you would have seen GCW Homecoming and GCW Keep in Touch over the last couple of weeks, and they've been beautiful shows that have been held near the coast, and the aesthetic's really nice.
It's going to be great for the Fiend, isn't it? It'll be so spooky. Seagulls pooing on him as he comes out. It'll be brilliant.
The sound of coin machines going in the background.
Punching Judy on.
Walks past a guy eating a hot dog. Oh, it's beautiful.
Hey, Dad, yeah, how much for an hot dog?
Who's that bloke over there?
Especially if they buy the sea and everything, because the wind played hell for GCW, because Facade tried to do the flamey stuff. I don't know what stuff you put in your mouth to light it. It was so windy, and nothing happened, and he just had to go to the guys. Just hit us.
If he'd been 90 degrees the other direction, it would have been a much worse headline than man attempts fire and nothing happens.
Yeah,
it would have been much worse.
Also, WWE Draft reportedly planned for October. I'm sure it's all blown over by then, right? So, but
who would you want to see drafted? Go on, give us a quick one. I think Seth's done enough on Raw now. I think he can come over to SmackDown. Maybe Seth. Owens as well.
Keith Lee from NXT to Raw, so I don't have to watch NXT.
Nice. Oh, poor old Dexter Lumis. He's very entertaining.
Sadly.
Not right now, he isn't. But anyway, what were we going to say, Tom?
Cedric and Ricochet to SmackDown. Go if you're going to make them a tag team.
Split them up.
But if you're going, I think they should be split up. But if you're going to make them a tag team, you might as well put them on SmackDown, give them a fresh start, and just let them storm it. If you're going to make them a tag team, I'd rather them not be a thing.
I mean, I guess they've always been run by the same people, but it's a shame that it's Bruce now because it's largely inconsequential, isn't it? Yeah. It's just blue and red. It's basically like when Game bought Game Station. Yeah. And it's like, well, you can go to Game Station. It's just the same place with different paint. Matthew's erect. He loved that.
I was not expecting that.
Well, I was working at Game when they bought Game Station.
Were you?
Yeah, it was good. It was hilarious because we had a Game Station in the precinct next to ours, but it backed onto us in terms of the wall, and we thought they were going to start drilling through because they're now owned by the same company. You could just make one big store, and they never did. They just rebranded the Game Station as a Game after a few months, and then somebody went, "Oh, there's two games really close to one another. We best close them, you buggers." That's what they did.
Give us a Game workplace secret, Tom.
Okay, Game workplace secret. They don't do it anymore, but they don't do it anymore. But if you wanted to, if there was a game that somebody was traded in that you liked, you could trade it in for like £1 in a batch of them, and it was fine. They don't do that anymore, and it was probably frowned upon. Probably frowned upon now. Other game trade secrets. We shrink wrap the books to stop people reading them. But that's obvious. That's all I can think of, unfortunately. There's not many exciting secrets. It was from a life many, many moons ago.
How long ago was that?
I was working for Game, even when it was Electronics Boutique. I'm old. Yeah, I was working
Boutique?
There. I was there when it was EB, and I was there
in that.
2001. I started there, and
You remember Tandy? Was that a thing up here?
Do you remember Tandy?
Tandy? Get your batteries, 8 for £1, Matthew. Tandy?
Flipping love Tandy.
Sorry, do the wrestling news. Sorry.
No, let's do this instead. This is far happier.
Who cares about wrestling?
I can't think of any. I can't think of any trade secrets of Game. I had a lovely time working there. They even let me run the shop on a Sundays, where I used to put Raw on the big TVs. So that was fun.
I've got a quick one for HMV when I worked there. 2010.
Oh yeah, we both did HMV, didn't we, as well?
That's right. The midnight launches they did. Sorry, technically a minute past. Whatever, because it's sometimes confusing which date it was, right? We did for Call of Duty Black Ops, and we had people in the shop the day going, "Oh, you've got it now, right? Let's go on. I'll give you some money for it now." And goes, "No, we don't have any in. Like, they're not in the shop." I go, "Oh, all right." And I was just saying that to black people. No, they only came an hour before the thing's supposed to open. So that's 3 different formats: Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. 3 different versions, just the normal steelbook and the one with the little Jeep. And some of them had names on and some of them didn't. We had all that to sort out in 1 hour while there was a queue a mile long down the street banging going, "Gizzard Games." Oh, mate, never again.
Well, that's weird because when the GameCube came out, and I was working at Game, when the GameCube came out, we had it for about a week. Like, I was playing Luigi's Mansion before everybody. Like, we had that ages before it.
Game got in trouble when there's supposed to be an embargo on. Everyone gets them in, but they can only sell them on this date. They did that for the Tomb Raider relaunch, Angel Darkness. They got told off for that.
There was a story. There was a story of one branch. This is the last Game story. There's a story of one branch, which there was it was when Woolies was open. Your favourite ad, when Woolies was open, and they were selling PlayStation 2s at a massive discount. So this is just a rumor and innuendo that went round that they took money out of petty cash at this one branch of Game, went to the Woolworths and bought all of the low-cost PlayStation 2s, sold them out, bought them in and used them as stock at the Game store.
Genius. Fair play to him.
Excellent work. Again, there's no evidence of this. It's a spurious rumor and innuendo. If Gary Game is coming at me, that's all I know. Not guilty, Your Honour.
Tom Campbell's playing the role of Tom Campbell in a fictional show called the Cultaholic Podcast. And this is the only reason, by the way, to work in places like this, for the stories later on when you bump into fellow retail workers and go, "Oh, let me tell you something, brother."
Retail work should be like national service. Like, everybody should do some. It just puts hairs on your chest working a shop at Christmas time.
I love the way that you did a little Hulk Hogan impression there. Well, let me tell you something, brother. Where did that come from?
It's a guy who's had 2 years working retail. Let me tell you something. Anyway, Dexter Lumis is injured after the mega push he's been getting. He's learned the severity of the ankle injury suffered by Dexter Lumis is worse than previously reported. And last week's NXT injury report has revealed Lumis suffered I'm not even going to bother pronouncing that. It looks like the surname of someone who's going to send us a question in later on the podcast. And so he was pulled from the match by William Regal. Who knows who's going to be in his place?
I think it's gone down to 4, is that right? So they're doing like 2 lots of 2 singles matches. The winners of those get in the match. And is there still a triple threat next week or something?
There's a triple threat next week as well.
Oh, okay, so they've got 5 still. They've got 5.
Yeah.
I hate that NXT injury report thing, by the way. It's mostly kayfabe, but then they occasionally put a real one in there as well. It's just really confusing. But yeah, I'm sad about it because like Lumis is brilliant. I really love him as a character. He's a highlight of NXT for me. So yeah, I think it's sad. And I think he was going to win the thing. Not anymore.
Yeah. It's a shame he probably tripped over a camera cut. And in the final bit of the news this week, we are the 3rd most listened to podcast of the people they surveyed at Squared Circle, bit of Reddit.
Incredible. Well, thank you very much, guys. It's all about me and Tom, really. So what can we say?
Oh, yeah, right.
We did it, guys.
Jack and Ross.
Yes, come on.
People love wrestling curiosities, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Congratulations,
Jericho.
Matthew, and to Ross and Jack. I know they won't listen to this, but that's really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing, lads. Well done.
They do all the hard work. I just write stupid bollocks. We're behind Jericho and AEW Unrestricted. Never heard of them. But we're ahead of Steve Austin. So thank you very much, Squared Circle. Big fans. And that was the news.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame.
And now it's time for everyone's favourite segment, the Hall of Fame. And in condescending order from last week, in 3rd place with 14%, 1-4, Neil M. from Nottingham. And I'm gutted that neither Jack nor Ross are here because I literally can't remember what that was. Moving on. In second place, Drunk Orson Welles outtakes, gutted, only 35%. I encourage you all to go check them on YouTube, on whatever, suit yourselves. But in first place, the well-deserved 49%, the Argos Catalogue. Press F in the chat. So
sad, isn't it? You know, they released them all. You might have talked about this last week, but I don't know if the website's still up, but they released every Argos catalogue as a digital PDF download. Really, you can look through. Yeah, me and my mum at Christmas were looking through them all, and I remember the layouts and the ordering of each page because you would just sit there and tick the ones you wanted. And yeah, no, they're amazing. All the wrestling pages and all the electronics pages and all that stuff. Yeah, you can. It might still be up. It was called the Book of Love or something like that. The Argos, the big book. Bicky, I don't know, bollocks, I don't know. It's online. Just search Argos Books PDF and you'll probably find it.
If you want something a bit quirky to listen to, my mates Tim and Simon do a podcast called Tim and Simon's Catalogue, which is basically going through an Argos catalogue page by page and breaking down everything. It is so much fun because they're writers, they've written stuff for the BBC and stuff, so they're clever people, and they just, what would be a real dull premise in one person's hands is really, really clever and engaging in theirs. And so cheap plug for them on the day that we say goodbye to the Argos catalogue.
I was going to say, who listened to a weird podcast like that, not realising that we've just discussed Game Station, and it's going to get much weirder now in the Hall of Fame, which is the bit where we don't talk about wrestling most of the time. Given that they're not here, I'll get the ball rolling, because some people asked us about this on Twitter, us meaning the Cultaholic people. There was a survey done by some website, whatever, but it doesn't matter. Once it goes online, everyone intervenes, gives their opinion on what was the UK's favourite ice lolly. Because in the future, if you're watching this, why are we talking about this? It was really hot this week. It's not today, but yeah, whatever. So, and there's some debate because they had stuff like listed like Magnums and Feasts, and people going, they're not ice lollies. Ice lollies are the other things. So, because of that and discussion going on, and people want to hear our opinions because I don't know why, but they want to hear our opinions nonetheless. I am nominating, not just for Hall of Fame pick this week, but also just in terms of the question, the great UK ice lolly, the Twister.
It's got ice cream in it.
It's what?
Yeah,
it's got ice cream in it. I wouldn't class that. Sure, it's a lolly, but there's still ice cream on it, isn't there? Does that count? I'm being a pedant
lolly. The middle bit's lolly.
So it's an ice cream lolly.
I'll go with that.
All right. So it's
but
not
isn't
the UK's
argument
It's just like the Jaffa cake debate.
No, that's a cake. That's just a cake. You're describing
it.
I would agree that that a Twister is an ice lolly, by the way. But you just mentioned some criteria there that you sort of stated that, or you said that a Magnum isn't an ice lolly because it's got ice cream.
Other people saying that. Hang on, I'll just check the official Cultaholic criteria for the ice lolly thing.
Okay.
Just a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
I did write this when we started the company.
You did right. I know.
It's important.
And I thought
everybody signs it when they.
Yeah. And I thought it was a ridiculous thing to do, Adam. But I mean, once more,
you've
proven
this
you
happens more than you would expect as well.
Here we go. Yes, they are.
Okay.
Because you can buy them from shops in the ice lolly section. Oh, okay. There we go. There's
just like a Magnum.
Yes, according to that thing, that bit of paper that I had next to me on the desk.
Well, it's my words. Well, I love a Twister, by the way. I really love a Twister.
Do you?
So now I've got to choose a better ice lolly, really. I was going to go with something wrestling related, but bollocks to that. It's not in the spirit of things anyway. I'm going to go for a fruit pastel lolly because they've actually got even better. I ate 4 in one sitting the other day and it was amazing. It was my dinner. No,
what?
I haven't been looking after myself, Maffew. I didn't have room in the freezer. Yeah, I know. You should see my diet. All I've been eating is Roundtree's fruit pastel lollies and Dreamies. No joke. And so
I love the idea of the camera
they
being
made it even
switched
better.
on.
In the worst flavour, objectively, the worst flavour of the fruit pastel lolly was, of course, lemon. It's gone now. It's pineapple. It's been made. It's so good.
That's way worse.
Well, you're full of.
Who willingly picks pineapple as a sweetie?
Over lemon?
They're both bad.
Are you an old woman? What's this about?
One's World War I, one's World War II. Just because
What does that
pineapples have
even
killed less
mean?
people than lemon doesn't make them any less worse.
What are you blabbing on about? Right, so the top layer, I won't be able to remember this in order, but the top one is blackcurrant, which would normally upset me. Which would normally upset me because I love blackcurrant, but it's quite bitter at the top of a fruit pastel lolly. So that little bit, just the cap, just the what would you know, is enough. That's enough blackcurrant for me. And then it's layered perfectly. It's basically in order of my preference. It's an amazing ice lolly. There's no ice cream in it, by the way, because it is an ice lolly. Delicious. And cheaper than a Magnum, cheaper than a Twister. I bought 4 multi-pack, £1.50 from Sainsbury's. That's a Sainsbury's in a train station. If I'd gone to a big one, it would have been 4 for £1. Don't know how they do it, Maffew.
I'm still thinking about you having 4 fruit pastel ice lollies for your dinner.
Well, I didn't have room in the free. I could have squeezed it into the. I could have squeezed it in.
The camera's switching on. You just go, please don't tell people how I live.
They're delicious. They're Moorish, aren't they?
Bleak. That is bleak.
No, yeah, after 2, I wasn't even enjoying myself. I don't like waste, and I thought I don't have room in the freezer. I could have got something out. I've got a crumbler made in there. I could have got the crumble out, poured that out, add that for dessert next day instead of
for breakfast.
You know what else I've been eating loads of? And this is absolutely disgraceful. Corner shop sandwiches. That's grim. Nobody should buy them. No, literally, they're the worst. They sit there for about 4 weeks, and I had 2 last night. I'm taking better care of myself now.
Buy a loaf of bread. Buy some nice ham.
I was busy. I get in late, and all right. I know. I'm trying. Shopping does. I know. Listen, I made sacrifices, and part of that is my own health well-being.
Can I encourage you to at least maybe buy some tortelloni, which you can just put in a hot pan for 4 minutes, and then you've got a nice tea, which isn't lollies and corner shop sandwiches.
I love cooking as well, and I'm not a bad cook either. I've got a really nice curry, a chickpea curry on the go in the slow cooker at the moment. I'm going to get home and I'm going to make some rice and it's going to be amazing. It's a proper meal. It's a proper meal. I've been getting a lot of Deliveroo and stuff as well. They sucker me in 25% off with free delivery. I'd be a fool not to.
What's yours? Pacitti, you're like an onion. You got lots of layers and you're making me cry.
Tom, don't say that.
Right.
What is your Hall of Fame pick? It doesn't have to be a lolly.
Okay, well, it's just as well because I came in today and I thought, well, I really want to put my mum and dad into the Hall of Fame because when
they're technically ice creams, Tom.
They are actually, aren't they? That's true. Damn it! Because they know I've been working from home, and I've not had a chance to go home as often. What with every bit of the country being on fire at different times, little fires everywhere. Now on Amazon Prime, and consequently, I've not seen them in ages. But when I mentioned to them, I'm going, well, we're going back into the office soon. And Mum's like, "Is it safe to go back?" I said, "Well, yeah, I think so." So this, in case it wasn't, this gift box arrived just the other day from my mum and dad, and it was like 50 face masks, like several litres of hand sanitizer, like these metallic hand gloves, the manliest hand wipes that you've ever seen. This entire system in place, and it's just the fact that through it all, like you always forget, like your mum and dad will just reach out to you like that, and it just really warms your heart, something like that. And I sat there, I looked at this and went, this is something that's so pharmaceutical, but it's so beautiful. And I really want to put my mum and dad into the Hall of Fame because it's my little way of putting a little stamp on. It means a lot to me, my mum and dad. I really want to do that. But Buggy, you've been talking about ice cream, so I'm sticking Calippo in there.
Nice, good shout.
Calippo.
Very refreshing. By the way, not to slag your mum and dad off.
Thanks, mate.
I literally just spent £800 on various on masks, on hand sanitizer, on Carex. We've spent so good shout with the Calippos because
should have gone to my dad. He probably could have got you a discount.
Calippos are amazing. Really delicious.
They're amazing.
Really delicious.
And it's not just that. It's the functionality of a Calippo that I'm a fan of. How is the fact of that you push the bottom up and then you have a little bit, and if you don't want any immediately straight away, it's fine. It's not exposed to the elements. You can pop it back in and you can leave it.
And at the end, drink it down. You get a shot of Calippo.
And then at the end, you pour it down, don't you? You have a little drink. of your Calippo at the end, and you get a nice little drink. It's basically at the end you're drinking neat squash, which is a nice little kick at the end of your main course that was 4 fruit pastel lollies. So it's a wonderful meal. It's a wonderful meal. So yeah, Calippo for me.
That's interesting because the one that popped into my head after Maffew started talking about Twisters was Calippo shots, which I'm not even sure if they make them anymore. They were a nightmare to get out because they would all stick together straight away and you couldn't actually get them through the little hole. But very refreshing again. So I've got to stop doing that with everything that I talk about. It's just they were really good, but I think they might have been discontinued. We've been chatting away on the old Cultaholic Discord about discontinued food and drink lately. So I've got a lot in my head. Just because we've been blabbing on about it for ages. Remember Frou-Frous? Frou-Frous?
Remember Frou-Frous.
Oh!
Flew in tubes, what it was called.
No, that's Froobs. That's Froobs. Freezer Froob, delicious. That's an ice cream in itself. Really nice.
I remember Frou-Frous.
My favourite thing that they don't make anymore, food, Fuse chocolate bars.
Delicious.
Because they got like a load of chocolate, fruit and nut and crammed it into that. For 50p, that was a meal.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't eat 4 of them. That's a medical improbability. It's like a cool hand Luke eats 50 eggs.
Mars Delight, little tube of wafer running through it.
Yeah.
Don't make those anymore.
No, not for donkeys.
Are twirls still a thing?
What is?
Twirl.
Yeah, 12's kicking about, I
Are
think.
they still a thing?
Yeah,
every so often, they'll put out a press release saying we're going to stop making this particular chocolate, and then there's a groundswell of people buying them, and then they end up sticking around. And I remember seeing one about twirls. I thought twirl might have, if any time you're going to dump twirl from your repertoire, it was going to be during a pandemic.
Aero came back, didn't it?
Aero, yeah. Did cream eggs, right?
No,
did cream eggs go away?
No. They changed the recipe for the chocolate because I think Cadbury's has been slowly doing that because, well, it got harder to get chocolate for a number of reasons.
No, it was bought out by an American company. They changed the recipe.
Oh, was that the reason? There was 2 different stories then, yeah. But I didn't realise this until Cream Egg Inc., whatever, went on Twitter and said, there's been a slight change, but it's the same great taste and all that. And I don't know about this because there's so many different parts of YouTube. Like Cream Egg YouTube was just filled of all these women going, what's this stuff? And all this and just going, how dare you, you've killed Cream Egg. And I only knew about it because of the sheer backlash that they were causing. All these angry people eating cream eggs.
It tastes
going,
different.
Ugh.
They're not as good. And I love a cream egg, me. But I'm not going to complain about them being smaller because that's a thing. It just happens. But they don't taste as good.
But they don't go away, do they? Because I always see adverts saying cream eggs are back. And I think I don't ever see them not there. There's like
Poundland,
this weird...
you can get them all the time, I think.
Exactly. There's always places. There's this sort of time paradox where cream eggs come back and the DFS sale ends, where everything lives in perpetuity. And it's just funny because I've never seen them go away, but they always see adverts saying cream eggs are back. Well, yeah. I'd hope so.
Anyway, I'd choose a caramel egg over one. Cadbury's caramel over.
Oh,
really
caramel
nice.
cream egg.
Get your tongue in there, nice.
And the
anyway,
cream
I'll
egg.
do this for the Twister and we'll move on because I'm sure people are like, can you talk about wrestling, please?
No,
the reason why I picked Twister
this is free. They can deal with it. This is free.
We've already got your vote, Squared Circle. We don't care what you say. But yeah, I picked Twister not just because they taste lovely, but because the one time, and my mum keeps on bringing up, we're at the motorway service station, me and my brother are like, we have a Twister? She's like, all right, pay some money. And we go out and we're so happy being little lads with our little ice lollies that we walked out and were very nearly hit by a car in the car park. And my mum was like, no, come back. And we didn't. And she was like, oh, God, imagine if that had happened. I bought those ice lollies, you got hit by a car. I'd never get that $2.50 back.
Love it.
So, to summarise the Hall of Fame bit, which was about half an hour ago, the picks this week are the Twister, the superior lolly, the Roundtree's Fruit Pastels lolly, that used to be advertised by the guy from Eurotrash, and
Antoine.
And Tom was going to name his parents, but he said stuff them. It's the Calippo.
Calippo. That's something you get on the bottom of your feet.
Skies. McCartney song.
Scalabo, they're from Yorkshire. And you can vote for any one of these 3 ice lollies to prove, finally, definitively, what is the best UK ice lolly by simply going to patreon.com/Cultaholic.
This is This Week in the Wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
Now for This Week in Wrestling. SmackDown. Well, rather than grumble about the poorness of SmackDown, every week I'm going to bring a new fact to make it more interesting than watching the 2 hours of poo. SmackDown's fun fact comes from me. Did you know that flamingos aren't actually pink? It's from the food that they eat. They eat that much shrimp. Or maybe prawns. I don't know. I'm not a flamingo.
Fruit pastel lollies.
Fruit pastel lollies, that's right. That the pigmentation causes them to turn pink. They're actually mostly white if they weren't eating fruit pastel lollies. Sometimes 4 for one lunch.
So if you saw a flamingo that was just eating, I don't know, chicken and chips or whatever, it wouldn't be pink.
Aye, and it'd be complaining about Mike Ashley. So AJ Styles defeated Grand Metalik.
Grand Metalik? What was that? What was that voice you just did for Grand Metalik?
Well, it's a non-English thing, so isn't it?
Okay.
Grand Metalik.
Yeah. Grand old Metallic.
Grand Metalik. King Corbin defeated Drew Gulak. Oh, wow. Big E.
No, but there was a turn.
Miz.
That's why I included it on the notes. Is because Gable's gone and joined him. I guess going after the King's
I'm sorry,
bounty.
it's Jeff Hardy.
Well, you can blame WWE.com for that. They've changed their things around.
Oh no, you copy-pasted the WWE descriptions.
Oh, big time. I had a couple of notes, like on the set on that next one, the Bailey one rather. Nikki turns heel, Fiend attacks Alexa. That's all me.
Great. You can tell
6 words.
Straight and to the point, like yourself. And Cross was rushed after the latest defeat and shoved 5 feet of fury to the mat. A confused Bliss was left alone in the middle of the ring until the Fiend Bray Wyatt emerged, paying $200 to ask Alexa Bliss.
400.
$400 if she could be his date. She had to politely decline, and the demonic figure delivered a mandible claw to a stunned Bliss.
I liked it. I thought it was an intriguing end to SmackDown. I didn't think it was a bad SmackDown either. I enjoyed the Big E match. I'm glad to see that the singles push is off to a good start, defeating a former WWE champion, no less. AJ Styles versus Grand Metalik was underwhelming. I genuinely thought that was going to be like a bit of a game changer for Grand Metalik there. I thought that he was going to do something to wow us, and we'd be all like, "Yeah, come on, it's the bloody Grand Metalik movement." But it was just a match, and it wasn't even that good. It was all right. It wasn't a bad SmackDown. I think you're being unfair on SmackDown.
It's just generally I don't really enjoy the product, and I'm trying to be a weird fan, where if I don't like it, I'll stop watching it for a bit.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
So I've been watching Big E and the stuff on YouTube, and like, yeah, Big E exists, he's beating people, and I'm happy with that. Tom, any thoughts on SmackDown?
I like to see Big E doing good things. The Bliss and Fiend bit, as Adam said, was just you don't see stuff like that in WWE anymore, which is why it stands out so much. And I thought it was great. There's little bits on SmackDown that I really like. I don't know why we feel the need to put Shorty G and Corbin together after everything. Weird parallel between that and NXT this week, which we'll talk about in a bit. And it just seems like a waste of Shorty G. I feel like he could be doing more. I'm going to be one of those fans that wins. They could do more with them, but I feel like they could.
It's a bit of a death sentence, though, isn't it? Doing anything with Corbin, it doesn't really help many people.
Not really. That's my thoughts on SmackDown.
Those are lovely. I'm sure we'll have no thoughts whatsoever for Monday Night Raw.
It was a very middle of the road show. Nothing happened of any major significance.
Skip it, right?
To give us a flamingo fact again.
Flamingos prefer feasts. Anyway, United States champion Apollo Crews.
A flamingo, when it isn't moving, is a flamingo stop. There you go.
Can you kick people from these?
I'm in the other office.
Tom just puts his hand like off camera and comes off the event for Tom. Apollo Crews defeated MVP to unite the two titles. And this is weird because Apollo Crews was announced as being injured. And a lot of people, myself, assumed that when they said, oh, he's injured, he's pulled his muscle or something, blah, 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 he's got COVID. Apollo Crews is back. Presumably he's okay. And he's won the title back from MVP a few weeks later than expected. And
yeah, I was hoping MVP was going to win on the pay-per-view. I don't care about Apollo, and I don't think I ever will.
I like MVP. I like the stuff he's doing with the other guys. They're cool. They sound awesome. And then you give the microphone and pull of Apollo Crews. Bless him. He's so physical and able to do the cool flips and stuff. But the mic, and it was just, the longer he went, the less he cared. Yeah, woo, I won. Yeah, I won. Bloody hell. You know, there was nothing. You know, I like him in theory. Nia Jax was suspended indefinitely without pay. No, not for impersonating a wrestler. Who said that? After actions last week resulting in a fine because she attacked Pat Buck, WWE official, and God, that's weird to think about because he's been an indie guy for so many years. And so it's like, all right, cool. How much did he get paid? How much did he get suspended for? Cool, I'll hit you again then. I'll get me money's worth. And that was that. Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler ended. Apparently there's no contest here.
Yeah, I saw everybody getting upset about it, but I've not. All I've watched from the Raw is some of the highlights, so I haven't actually seen this match in full. Any good?
The match itself, fine. I think the quality of the women's wrestling on Raw, and I guess SmackDown, because it's pretty much the same roster right now, is really good. I love what they do in the ring. It's just everything around that. And this is why, again, Sasha Banks took on Shayna Baszler. Bayley's at ringside. Asuka came out and she had a Raj, and the referee turned it into a contest.
Right.
Because Asuka attacked Bayley at ringside, they threw the match out.
Nothing to do with Banks or Baszler.
Well, that's bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah. So
I hate the bastardization of the rules all the time. They just it happens. I'm not one of these people that wants a set rule book because storylines and creative can dictate things that that change that. But there needs to be some sort. It just sets a bad precedent, doesn't it? It doesn't make any sense.
A bad precedent, like Jack Tunney. And then ratings are down. What do you do? Who do you turn to? That's right, somebody from the 90s. Shane McMahon made his return and revealed Raw Underground to the world. I was actually very intrigued by this. I'm like, all right, go on, show us what you got. Get the ratings out the gutter. Shane McMahon promised to shaking things up, and he did just that, revealing Raw Underground, which served as a battleground for WWE's toughest fighters to prove themselves with few, if any, rules. So just Monday Night Raw. Shayna Mac then introduced the towering Dabba-Kato. Got that right?
Yeah.
There we go. And brutally knocked out two opponents in rapid-fire succession. All right, so again, I was intrigued by this. It's like, look, it's got to be something better than nothing, something better than the sterile performance center. Let's go backstage. Let's see it. And I'm like, okay, looks different. Looks cool. They're all, blood sporty, whatever. Shane's sweating already, so you know it's hot. And then the camera cut started happening. And you could barely tell what was happening. And it was the zoom in, zoom. Oh my God, look at the blah, blah, blah. And there's that guy from months ago that we talked about previously. And then there's a match. Hey, and then there's another dude. And it was nothing. It was complete. It was less than nothing. Didn't mean anything. I think the only thing that's meant to people is the fact that everyone's arguing over which company they stole it from. Because Chikara are leading the race in that, wherever it's going. Because apparently Chikara presented that as a pilot to them. That's what I'm being told. And then he went, no, I won't use that. And now Chikara, MIA.
Yeah, Chikara did it as the Crucible. Yeah, they did it as the Crucible for that. So
yeah, them and Ronnie O'Sullivan. So that's the only thing there. Adam, what did you think of Raw Underground?
I liked it. I'm interested by it. I think aesthetically it looks really, really cool. I didn't personally notice the camera cuts. So it's interesting you say that. No, I know. Maybe I was just so fascinated by what was going on. I'm not saying it was fantastic or anything, but I'm willing to give it a chance. I think there are really good things about it. In that it's going to give people exposure who don't get exposure, and some people are going to look badass because they can trounce someone in 30 seconds. To me, it's like, hey, you could do a squash match in quite an interesting way, make someone look really hard in 30 seconds. That's cool. What I don't like about it, and it is a problem, I think, is if you're presenting that as real fighting, then what's the rest of Raw? Because the aim is to suspend your disbelief and believe what you're seeing in the ring, even though we all know it's not, is real. So if that's real, then what does it make the rest of the show? So I think that's a little bit problematic, but I think it's interesting, and you know what? It's been such a tedious few months of Raw in the Performance Center in front of 20 people. that I think it's something to break up the show doesn't bother me. Thomas?
I thought it was two ideas that somebody had for this bit that it felt like the first clip I saw of it before I sat and watched all of Raw was Shane McMahon bringing Babatunde out. And the first thing you think is, what a week for Ross to miss. And Babatunde comes out and batters people. And I thought, okay, that's cool. My first thought was, this is how we meet Babatunde. This is a device to bring in Babatunde. Like it. And then later in the night, after you watch the whole thing, later in the night, you have MVP Shelton Benjamin and Lashley come out and announce that they're here to run Raw Underground. We're the Hurt Business. Business is booming. Let's beat people up. So it felt like two ideas. It felt like the way to introduce Babatunde and a device for the Hurt Business to run a business. And instead of just picking one and honing in on it, they just went, we'll just do both. And consequently, I think that's where people have lost the love for it a little bit, because it feels like it's too many cooks spoiling the broth.
I
in
agree,
this
man.
case.
Those are two separate weeks, aren't they? That Hurt Business stuff comes in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, you do
I
that
don't know
down
why
the
that
line.
happened down. Yeah, I totally agree there.
They were in such a rush to get that over, whether or not they want to get something in the can before SummerSlam, but at least let it breathe for a week before doing that. Like I'm not against the idea at all. It just felt like, and when you know the behind the scenes stuff, you like how chaotic Raw was that day. Like they were rushing the tapings up until like an hour before, and you can see some of the wires metaphorically in that. So you get the vibe that they just kind of went after a point, look, that'll do. We'll just stick that out and go with it. And I think because of that damaged it somewhat.
Well said, Tom. Yes, for this, and we'll give it some patience because I'm a nice guy. As long as the end result is somebody gets over out of this. Because they seem more focused on the fact that Shane O'Mac was back, it's Raw Underground, woohoo, than any of the wrestlers. They did so little to get the other guys over that it almost was like Shane McMahon starring some people behind us who look really into it, especially with the royalty-free music playing in the background, that you almost forgot that Babatunde was there and all the other people that are trying to push, and Dolph Ziggler was there. And you're like, they were background characters when they should have been the main characters. So
totally
if someone
right.
gets over out of this, fantastic, because they need stars. They needed stars 2 years ago.
Over.
No.
You reminded me of something that did strike me as a problem that I totally forgot about, is that it appeared that Shane was in charge of the fights, not in an MC capacity, but he was going to the referee. Okay, that's enough, call it off. That's not his job, right? That's the referee's job. What is Shane's role in this? I think that needs to be more clear, because that annoyed me.
If it ends up with Shane being the manager of Babatunde, I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
as a thing, I'm all right with that. If that's what this whole device is for.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is now. But my initial thought was that would work, and apparently it's not. No. I don't know.
And the other bit to talk about on Raw, did you notice there was some technical issues? You're very subtle, so maybe you didn't notice them. They all stopped and went, well, the lights have gone out. Must be the weather we're having. 5 master assailants set fire to the WWE Performance Center's generator. On the night
You'll love a whodunit.
Yes,
this is the big question, isn't it? So we'll be talking about it in a little bit. But I like the generator being on fire and the Molotov. I think that looked cool. It's going to be underwhelming, but hey, that's wrestling. Of course it is.
Babatunde throws it after not winning the first match or whatever.
That'd be amazing.
We'll get to that later on. The other highlight was Seth Rollins coming out and going rah, 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 to Tom Phillips. And
why is he talking like Gruntilda?
Yes, Seth Rollins. That was perfect. Pitch perfect, Seth Rollins. And Samoa Joe going, standing up, it's very dramatically, and Seth Rollins, you don't want to do this, Joe. And Joe going, no, Seth, I do. I was like, oh. I've forgotten how good Samoa Joe was at everything.
It's tantalising that was. That led to obviously Dominic and Seth being set up and all of that good stuff. Can we mention the Orton Drew promo from Raw as well? Because that was really good.
Nah.
Give some props to that. Okay, fine.
Oh, go on then, Tom, because it's you.
The promo was really good. It was just Drew's really good, and I want to give lots of love to Drew McIntyre for this, because ever since he's taken on this almost poison chalice of being like the lead guy in WWE during like the most unprecedented of times. He's just risen to the occasion, and he's just gone, look, it doesn't matter, whatever, I'm here and I'm here to do it. And his stuff on the mic has been amazing. Like, he was spouting off about Randy Orton, and Randy Orton comes out and says, you know, you say the same things everybody else does. Name one, give me one new idea. Give me one new opinion on me that you've got, Drew. And then Drew pulls up this thing from his past, enters promo land with it, and says how when he was at a low point in his life and he was backstage, his mum was sick and all of this stuff, that Randy Orton walked past him, didn't say a single word to him, and he said that was the problem. And all the time I was there, you haven't helped a single person in this locker room, and you have the opportunity to pull people up, and you don't. You push people down, and I'm coming with receipts for SummerSlam. And it's just that stuff that's a little bit earthy that comes from Drew McIntyre that I think he has just been firing on all cylinders, to use a cliche, since becoming the WWE champion on Raw. And I wanted to give some props. I thought it was a great promo, one of the best bits of the night for me.
Well said, Tom. You're almost as good a speaker as Drew, who has been rising to the occasion like a jack on a bus. And it's a shame that Orton couldn't go, how dare you say I haven't helped people? Ted DiBiase Jr., Cody, Manu. Fair enough, Drew. Any other thoughts on Raw there, Pacitti? Cool, let's move on to... Ooh, you've done it weird. NXT next.
Oh, I didn't know which order you did it. You did it Dynamite.
We're here in WWE land. It saves us able to go all the way back over the street and coming back. Dakota Kai defeated Rhea Ripley to become the new #1 contender for the NXT Women's title. Give us Io Shirai versus Kai. That rhymes. At TakeOver Triple X, starring Vin Diesel. Damian Priest defeated Oney Lorcan and Ridge Holland to earn a spot in the North American title ladder match at NXT TakeOver. I like how some people are acting as if this is Ridge Holland's first time on TV. It hasn't left much of an impression since his thing. I think, do people know about the story that he was a former rugby guy who tried to get signed by WWE originally, but the visa people wouldn't allow him to have one because he had zero wrestling experience. So he had to do some tours of the UK first and then get signed by WWE.
Right, okay.
Because I had no idea that you couldn't just give a visa to someone, even if you're paying for it all, for anything. You have to have, you have to prove it. So
that's why he suddenly rose through the ranks of load of promotions in the north of England. You know, former 3CW champion is Luke Menzies. Let's throw that out there.
Aye,
a badge he wears with pride, I'm sure.
From the ridges of Holland, NXT champion Keith Lee defeated Cameron Grimes in a non-title match, and Imperium versus the Undisputed Era in a pretty good match. Tag team finale.
Really good.
Got all excited, but who cares about that? Because the thing to be talking about was Big Pat McAfee taking on Adam Cole again. And this was funny to me. Actually, you go ahead.
I was just asking, do you want to see it? Because this does nothing. But I found the work shoot stuff that they did on his show interesting, if not a little poorly acted. And then I like the way that they dealt with it before the show yesterday, saying, "Hey, we've kissed and made up," and there's a nice picture of a handshake or a Triple H point or whatever it was. But I don't care. I don't want to see Pat McAfee wrestle, especially. Is this a selling point?
That's the problem with this whole angle, was whilst the bit they did I thought was done really well, like Pat McAfee just slowly becoming a heel as the night wore on, which is it started subtle and then just became full blown, just constantly making short jokes about Cole. Cole comes over to have a word, and as he walks off, Pat goes, "Oh, angry little elf," and then Cole just comes back, throws water at him, and it all kicks off. Ends with Pat McAfee kicking him in the head and knocking him out, with Shawn and Triple H splitting him up. That looked quite cool. But it's the thing here, you're doing the Baron Corbin Shorty G storyline in NXT. It's two guys, and the main argument is the one guy thinks the other guy's short.
Baron Corbin is a believable bully. Pat McAfee is a bad actor.
Pat came across as a Twitter troll, and I quite like that aesthetic, because I think that's quite current. He came across as somebody who was being an arse, but going, "Yeah, but I was only a joke. They took it the wrong way, but it's not a lie. It's not what I'm saying isn't true." And Beth Phoenix, metaphorically blocking him during the main event by literally leaving the Zoom call on commentary for the main event was a nice little touch. But I think the fact that he's not playing a bully, he's playing a troll. I think that's what they're doing. Either way, no matter how good the build-up is, this could have the Limp Bizkit My Way video treatment to it. I still don't want to see Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. I still don't. And I don't think I ever will.
I hope we both eat our words on this.
I do as well. I'd rather be happy than right.
Of course.
Like, I hope this is wrong and they have like a blinder, a match filled with blood and sweat and tears and all sorts. I hope they just tear it down. But
And then eventually we can finally get Pat McAfee versus Dominic Mysterio. And all is right in the world. Shane McMahon refereeing. It's got to be in Raw Underground.
That's Mania, that is, mate. That's Mania 35.
Mania Underground, sorry.
Mania Underground XXX. Yeah, I think the issue is, I like Pat McAfee when he's being Pat McAfee. He's one of those big, boisterous American dudes. I'm not an NFL fan, so it's known him as the commentator in NXT, and I think he played his role in NXT. He's a commentator not this week, but like he's been doing it as a regular guy very well. The thing is, with this, what's the story? It's two dicks being dicks to one another. And I'm not really engrossed by that. Adam Cole's a dick, he's in Undisputed Era. Pat McAfee's a dick because he's making fun of Adam Cole for alleging he's 6 foot. And you're like, okay, cool. They're going to have a match. You're like, I don't care who wins. But I think the best thing about this is that we are so keen to stress how athletic and healthy all the wrestlers are right now. They're the most athletic people in the world. It's not fake. How dare you say that? Grrr. Then all it takes is an all-pro NFL punter who hasn't played sports in years to show up. And it's like Superman fighting normal human beings. Pat McAfee, one kick, kills Adam Cole. I'm like, okay, so is he a guest commentator or is he like, no, we need his 8 million followers now to all tune in to see Pat McAfee beat up Adam Cole.
Is he
now
that
he's
popular?
Back to, now it's like 98.
Am I underestimating his popularity? Because I don't know much about...
Well, if NFL people love him, I mean,
Right.
he seems to be more of a mainstream person. If people can let me know, by the way, because like I said, I only NFL thing I know is O.J. Simpson. So if anyone can let us know how popular it is in mainstream, that'd be fantastic.
I like how you call him Pat McAfee, like he's antivirus software.
Yeah, I know. Teaming with
Try not
Edward
to do
Norton.
that, but Pat McAfee. How do you say it?
Pat McAfee.
Nah.
I just know. Keep saying McAfee. You know, call it and Pat McAfee's antivirus.
Change MVP to AVG. Randy Norton. Sorry, it's better than Edward,
Next week's
wasn't it?
big question is: what if wrestlers were pieces of logistical software for across the years?
I can't think of any more antivirus.
Legado Encarta. There you go.
Dynamite.
Move on.
The Dark Order defeated the Young Bucks. In brackets, they had... messed it up. Dark Order defeated the Elite. And in brackets, it said on the match graphic, totally getting along. There you go. Had a really fast multi-man match to start off AEW Dynamite. They were going so fast, I thought their wheels were going to explode. Yep.
I thought Brody looked amazing in this. When he hit the finish, I thought it was brilliant. And it was good to see them pick up a win because I thought there was like a 1 in 10 chance of them winning that match, looking at it on a piece of paper. So it was actually nice to see them pick up a pretty big win. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Someone asked me, someone wrote something I thought was interesting. Are you expecting them to do a segment backstage where Dark Order recruit number 4 or number 3, if he's free, is asking Brody Lee and going, you know you're after the best in AEW, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, why are you recruiting Colt Cabana? And Brody's like, ha 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 ha. It's all part of my cunning plan. McMahon jokes. Colt Cabana's best friends with CM Punk. McMahon jokes. So we get him, he'll come in. And then someone has to inform him that, like, no, they're not friends anymore. They haven't been friends for years. He goes, what? He goes, yeah, have you not heard? No.
Jump cut to Brody Lee powerbombing Colt
Because
Cabana
someone on the
through a
phone looking at it
dustbin.
going, oh. And it just cuts to, like, at night, and the Dark Order cars going over a bridge, and you just see a rolled up carpet getting thrown off, and we never see or hear from Colt Cabana ever again.
One thing that's doing my head in, by the way, is when they're referring to them by number and then by name on commentary. I find it so jarring. They keep doing it. Sometimes they'll call them by their Dark Order number. Sometimes they'll just use their names.
I think because some members of the AEW commentary team can remember numbers better than they remember names. MJF addresses campaign staff. I like these bits. I like MJF. I like him doing his thing. And I like his scarf. What do you think, Pacitti?
He's great, isn't he? I thought last week was fantastic. This week was good. He's just brilliant. I'm really, really hyped for the pay-per-view match. I think it's going to be brilliant.
Good times.
Nothing right. He's just amazing. He's so good at what he does. What else do you say about it? He's just so good.
Exactly. Hyped up for the pay-per-view. Sammy Guevara destroyed Matt Hardy, himself, and a table and Matt Hardy's forehead in one 10-second bit. Very impressive. Matt Cardona, another name I'm probably butchering, and Cody.
Oh, I can't do it either. I really struggle with it. Just call him Zack Ryder. It's fine.
The artist formerly known as Zack Ryder and Cody. We can't call him like Zach Rhodes. Just split the difference.
Edgehead 1.
No, the best way to remember it is if somebody is giving you their automobile, that makes them a car donor.
Nice, yeah, that's good.
There you go.
They're donating the car, Maffew. A donor of a car.
Car donor.
Oh wait, I get it. It's car donor. Yeah, okay.
There you go. Use that. Just
let's go away. Like no, for real.
Car donor. Nice.
Defeated Alex Reynolds and John Silver. The Jericho and Cassidy Super Wednesday debate featuring Eric Bischoff. I like this. This is my kind of stupid stuff that AEW does really well with Jericho and Orange Cassidy in particular. And I didn't even realize that one of them did word for word the bit from Old School starring Will Ferrell until people told me, because I've not watched that in years. Tom, what did you think?
I loved it. I thought Bischoff was great here. Jericho was the facial expressions of Chris Jericho made it, especially during the bit where Orange Cassidy just comes out with all that stuff on climate change. I thought was great.
Tom, you're frozen.
Tom,
you're frozen.
Am I here?
Oh, he's back. Wait.
There we go.
like the ice caps, you are melting.
I was doing it for effect. I love this bit. I thought Bischoff was great. Orange Cassidy with his speaking part was brilliant, and Jericho's facial expressions really made it as well. I really liked it. I don't want to see Bischoff in a permanent role in AEW. I like Bischoff, but I'm nervous that if he's there, they might get itchy to do a general manager of AEW type deal, and I don't want that. Not for a good long lifetime. But Bischoff here, just popping in, was a lovely little nod. Is it the first time he's been on TNT in 20 years? Did I read that somewhere? First time in 20 years he's been on TNT? Something like that.
Yeah.
He's very good at what he does. I remember when he was over for WCPW, and I've never... Sorry, I think I didn't hear you talking, and then I saw your mouth moving, Maffew. I apologise. When he was over for WCPW, and we did some backstage skit stuff together, or some like little promo bits, and he didn't need any direction at all. And I remember there was like a 5-way that he had to set up, and it was like, and a part of that will be this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And he got told once, and then he just delivered it incredibly well, just like without even thinking. He didn't need to be told anything. He just got it straight. I'm there cacking my pants because Eric Bischoff sat next to me, thinking, all I've got to do is probably say, you love it or something. And then Bischoff just comes in and he's just like, he does it. He does his 4 segments and he's off. He's done. He's so good at what he does. What I'm saying is I think he would be an asset to the show. I don't want to see him in a general manager position either, but Bischoff still has a lot of value to pro wrestling, I think.
Yeah, all you need to do is pop a blue chew and he's ready to go. And if you don't believe me, don't worry, he'll mention it every single hour on 83 weeks. The Best Friends beat Pride and Powerful, so Pride and Powerful then went out and destroyed Trent's mum's van. Disgusting behaviour.
Disgraceful.
If it was slightly ruined by the fact that there was a camera inside the van, so you got the POV shot of, I guess, a van chair. Like, no, getting smashed. But
we've had worse than that in wrestling. We've had worse than that.
People would butcher WWE for doing that. I think that's a fair criticism because people would go crazy if
that's true. Okay, that's fine.
And also, it's such a busy week for news. We'll also drop it here. Brandy Rhodes' new idea of making it easier for women to have a space to come to in wrestling and to get advice and listen to people. And that on paper is a lovely idea. God knows it just looks like it's a terrible place for any women to be. It's a wrestling place. Fans won't get you, the wrestlers will. And what a nice idea. $50 a year.
I think it's good value. Genuinely, I understand the criticism against this, but actually looking at the press release, and if they live up to what they're offering as far as the little workshops and stuff that they're doing, I don't think $50 is unreasonable at all. And I'm not. If it was just an online community where women can interact freely without, because wrestling fandom is pretty toxic at times, and women have a hard time of it. Female wrestling fans have a really hard time of it. If it was just an online chat room, forum sort of thing, then $50 isn't on. But actually, I think they are providing like real value with the workshops and like social media workshops and all that stuff, marketing, and I'm all for it personally.
It works out like something like $4 a month, really.
Yeah, it's $50 a year.
You'd buy an over expensive coffee for that. And instead of buying an over-expensive coffee, you get loads of other cool stuff online. You know, there's streaming platforms that offer less that cost more. So when you break it down like that, I think I get it though, because if the first thing you see is £50 a year, you're not looking at the per year, you're looking at £50. If they'd said £4 a month, people would have gone, reasonable. But it's because everybody looks at the price rather than the time scale.
Same price as What Culture Extra, but I think you get a bit more.
There you go. Just a little bit more.
Yeah. I'd like to hear what women think about this, if any listen to this show. But moving on, John Moxley defeated Darby Allin in the main event, and I was loving this because the two Ps from the same pod. These two is almost like watching Looper. Sorry, Bruce Willis and the lad from Third Rock from the Sun. Like what they did here, like how after the match, John Moxley was cradling Darby, like, I'm sorry, past me, or whatever. What did you think, Tom?
I liked it. I think these guys work really well together. I think it was a foregone conclusion that Moxley was winning. Like, obviously, it's a tough one when you're booking a wrestling show and you've blatantly got a match down the line in your crosshairs, which is Moxley versus MJF, and you're clearly booking towards that. So when you have another match along the way, you have to go a long way to suspend the disbelief of, could Darby pull off an upset and go to the pay-per-view to face MJF? And we all know he won't. But regardless of that, there was at least one moment where it was like a 2.999 recurring on the count. So there was a moment where I got a bit of a whoa, nearly there, nice. So, but the match was great. Like, these guys just have beautiful chemistry together, and Darby's gonna be he already is a star. It's wrong to say he's going to be. He clearly already is, and I'm enjoying seeing him. It's nice to see, like, a year on already, we've got so many great homegrown guys with AEW who are about to take over the world. MJF, clearly about to become the next AEW world champion. Darby Allin not far behind there as well. And it's because they've had this nice mixture of older talent and younger talent, and to build on that. And Darby, I think, massive part of the landscape to come in AEW. And this proves it.
It's no wonder you do the majority of podcasts on this channel, isn't it, Tom? Just so beautiful words.
Thanks, mate.
Any other thoughts there on AEW, Mr. Pacitti?
Tom's hit the nail on the head there. Totally
he has, hasn't he? He's hitting all the nails. So we'll carry on and move on to the next segment right now.
Let's have a rummage in our mail bags.
And now it's time to have a little look in the mailbag. Number 1. Good day, diddlers. Thanks to the great content you continue to put out, I suffered with toothache last week, and your content was a welcome distraction. Feeling better now, it got me thinking. Is there anything more painful? The time I had a Greg's chicken bake spill on me, in brackets, the filling is hotter than the surface of the sun, is the only thing I can think of. So my question is, what is your most physically painful experience, and what is the most painful one you've seen in wrestling? Cheerio, Mike Oxmall. Oh, that was supposed to be Mike Oxmall. That was good, that. I like that one. Yeah, sorry to hear about that chicken bake. So, that's a good question, because we all like people in pain. As a kid, I was playing, I don't know how old it would be. It was being lower school, so maybe 6. So I don't know. We were playing Tig, me and this big lad, and I had some, the little packets of raisins you get. And I'm like, oh, whatever. I threw a raisin, and it hit him. And I went, Tig. And he went, no. He didn't have a packet of raisins. What he did get was a rock from off the floor, and big lad, Ridge Holland lad, threw it, and just to take me, and it split my lip. And when you're 6 years old, that's quite a painful experience, because it just goes like that. It's literally just, if you, I don't know, took a big pair of scissors. And so I had to go to the hospital crying like, and they can't put you under apparently. Oh, these sadistic gets didn't. So you know, to stitch up a lip to a 6-year-old, and this one was like, "Come on, let's read this story. Just try not to get distracted." I'm like, ah. So I'll say that one. Lots of happy memories.
You got a little scar.
A little tiny one here.
Have you? I had a birthmark on my lip, and I had it lasered off, and I've got a little scar bit around there. Oh. It's not nice lip stuff, is it?
What was the birthmark?
It looked like either I had a little bit of lipstick on there or herpes. But I used to get bullied for it growing up, obviously, amongst other things. And so I was like, "No, Mum, I want this off." And we had this thing, and it felt like an elastic band flicking against my lip. It only took a few sessions, but it's gone now. But you can still see it. So, like, if I gave you a close up of my lip, which I will do when COVID is over, you can see the little dots and scarring there.
Interesting. Is that also your pick for most pain?
No, tore a bollock.
What?
No, that's they're writing a letter in the mailbag next week.
My kite, or it might have been my brother's kite, flew away and went to try and get it. But to get it, we needed to climb over a barbed wire fence.
Oh no!
You see where this is going. Little Adam Pacitti, 8 years old. He's only got his shorts on. Went as I went down, a barbed wire barb went through the. Yeah, I imagine a lot of people at home are doing the same and taking their headphones off. Went through my my scrotum. You can still hear me, Maffew. Scrotum. Went through my scrotum. Went through the scrotum. It didn't actually touch the testicle, but it did tear the scrotum. So that was really, really painful. I'm fortunate in that, you know what, I've not had to deal with that much pain in my life. But that wasn't very fun. And I took a tennis ball to the plums once, and that wasn't very nice either. Thomas?
When I was at nursery school, I don't remember this, but I've been told it many times, because my mum had to come and get me. It was sort of like a playtime bit. We were all wandering around, and for some reason, adventurous little soul, had put my hand between the gap between the wall and the door. You know, where the join would go in to where you'd put the door in. My hand was being pushed through there. Then the teacher came in, and the teacher was shutting the door behind her, but she shut it with quite a lot of force. So she went, whoom! And I was told that this was related to my mum, was that as that happened, like I couldn't scream because I was in that much pain. So the teacher didn't know I was there. So the teacher went, "Why is that door not shutting?" Oh, no. Whang, whang. And then it was at that point, apparently after a couple of whangs, where I let out a bellow like a terrified child, and just completely, I mean, there's no mark in there now, but like completely just ripped the skin all off my hand and my knuckles all around there. Oh God, it was horrible by all accounts. Because I was too young and probably I've blotted that out of my mind. But I remember that being quite a distinctive, fun memory.
What about in wrestling?
There was this bit with the door. No. The worst one I think I ever saw in wrestling was probably Sid Vicious, 2000.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking as well.
Starrcade 2000, coming off the top rope with your standard top rope boot. Only to land, and just literally you watch the foot of Sid Vicious like crumble like it's paper. Yeah. And
it's amazing that you can literally just say Sid's leg to any wrestling fan and they know. 2 words, Sid's leg.
Sid's leg. It's just it was grim. And I remember watching that, and it's just, and the fact that WCW, the officials just said, "Well, that's terrible, but we've got to carry on because we're about to do a mystery reveal."
It's going around like that, isn't it?
It's wobbling there, and there's Animal walking down in a mask because they've got to do the bit where they reveal that he's in a new faction. Like, just stop the thing and tend to that man. His leg is literally on a hinge. Go and seize at him. But yeah, that's my pick for worst wrestling injury as well.
So he got out the limo, came down, was like, see Sid with his leg folded up like one of those old school telescopes you see pirates have. And he's like, kick. And Scott Steiner pinned him. They're like, aha, because of Road Warrior Animal, Steiner was able to beat Sid. I was like, oh, well, what are we going to do in that position? In terms of injuries, I mean, there's horrific ones such as, I was going to say, Hayabusa's career-ending one. Because these ones that you just wish you could unsee, but you can't. So I'm going to go with that one, keep this a happy one, and I've nothing happy to say about it. Yeah, Pacitti, what's yours? And please not involve a bollock.
No bollocks here. Sid's leg was the one that sprang to mind. If I guess the weed whacker, I've seen various weed whacker spots. They're pretty gruesome. They don't look very fun at all. Live, it would be. It's nothing mental or anything, but it would be Orton Lesnar from SummerSlam 2016. I was there live for that one, and that was pretty daunting, I guess. But no, there are so many. We don't need to recap all the horrible wrestling injuries, do we?
We'll move on, keep it happy, as that question was from My Cock Small. Tope con hey ho, gentlemen. Earlier today, I was reading articles about the WWE Hall of Fame because working at a hotel during a global pandemic is, as you Brits say, rather pants. We do say
Nobody said that since like 2004.
But
sorry, carry on. Sorry, Trevor.
But one thing that came into my mind, what if more than just people went into the WWE Hall of Fame? So that leads to my question for you. If you have to choose one match, one promo, and one finisher to put into the WWE Hall of Fame, what would it be and why? Thanks for everything you guys do. You truly brighten up my boring Friday nights at work because no one wants to stay in a hotel during a pandemic. Wishing you the best. Trevor from Ohio, said like New Japan crowd. So, from Ohio. Anyway, so one match, one promo, one finisher in the WWE Hall of Fame. Do you want to go first there, Tom?
Okay, are we going to do? Are we each going to do a match, then a promo, or should we just try to do match, promo, finisher at the same time?
You choose, Tom. Do it how you want.
Okay, I'll do them all. I'll fly through them. Match in the Hall of Fame. I'll be boring. Rock Austin, Mania 17. Stick that in. Promo. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. And finisher, Doink the Clown's whoopee cushion, because it was one of the only finishers that was brave enough to have a sound effect attached to it.
I love the fact that you started quite serious there, and then you thought, that's not fun enough, I'll just say some bollocks. Screw it.
It's a roller coaster ride, that is, of an answer.
I'll go with Shane versus Kurt. Love that match. I watched it the other day. That's a Hall of Fame worthy match. So Shane is part of the first induction into the Hall of Fame of matches. Finisher, Jack Hammer. Love a Jack Hammer. And promo, who's your daddy, Montreal? It's got to be. Have I stolen yours, Maffew?
No, I was just remembering that one, because I hear that and I hear the rest. Well, the rest is boo.
Yeah.
One match, probably WLC.
Great, underrated.
Completely underrated. One of those ones where people were going, this is going to be the stupidest, worst match ever. And I watched it and went, nah, mate, honestly.
The unnecessary bumps that they took in that match, so good. I'm all for it.
All of WLC. One finisher, Jerry Lynn's Cradle Pile Driver.
Nice.
One promo. Oh. See, I was going to just say Steiner Math. But because you've said that, me and my friends sometimes get together and watch Who's Your Daddy Montreal? And then we watch the one where Rock properly turns Hollywood. Because he comes out, where is it? Because it's somewhere in Canada. Because it's first time in like 2003. And he comes out and goes, no, don't chant. Like, Rocky suck, Rock. Yay, hooray. He said the name of our city. That's where we live here in, is it Montreal? Oh, I'm ruining this. I'm sorry. But the first one, damn it. I'm so sorry. Any other time of the day, I could say this word for word, but I can't remember one word now.
Just say hard times. Hard times. Quick, we'll move on. It doesn't matter.
Hard times for Maffew, trying to remember anything. After all that CTE. No, Rock turns Hollywood for the first time. Okay. That one.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it before. I couldn't tell you where it was, and I haven't seen it probably since 2003 or whenever it happened. But I do remember it.
That's where we live. And shut up. Is that the first time you ever hear anyone say your name? Anyway, hello, Maffew and the substitute teachers.
Yes.
Given that this week's podcast is 2/3 subbing in for the regulars, how does this guy know this? Hey, well, okay, we'll pretend that. Kayfabe. I was wondering, what is your favourite time that a wrestler had to substitute for another? For me, it's got to be Kofi Kingston replacing Mustafa Ali in the Elimination Chamber and everything that followed from it. Cheers for all the great content. Eddie Edwards, in brackets, no, not that one. Oh, okay. Probably asking where all that Impact footage is. That's a good question. Substitute teachers.
I'm going to go with
go on.
TLC 2017. And there's two options there, but I'm going to go... It was 2017, wasn't it? Kurt replacing Roman Reigns in the Shield, and it was fantastic. Not because it was a great match, but it was fun. It was fun. But seeing Dad Kurt come out in his Shield outfit, going like that, not really knowing what to do with his face, was just wonderful.
I'll go with Daniel Bryan kind of replacing CM Punk. After that whole palaver, then he ended up just getting his entire push, and it was just like, oh no, he's gone. What are we going to do? Hail Mary. Oh, that worked out all right. Daniel Bryan headlining WrestleMania. Everything's all right.
Okay. For mine, I want to take you back to one of the lesser-known eras of wrestling, the elevated enzymes era of professional wrestling. And it was the night that the Big Show replaced the Great Khali in the Punjabi prison match, because we had this stunning visual of Great Khali. It was Great Khali and Big Show walking down the corridor going, oh, we're going to beat up Undertaker. That'll be a laugh. And then Teddy Long saying, oh, by the way, hey, Khali, your enzymes are up. You can tell. So you're out of the match. Big Show, you're in the Punjabi prison. And then it's Big Show, the man that they've never really booked properly. 7-foot monster crying his eyes out as he's walking towards the ring to face The Undertaker in a match that nobody knew what was going to happen in. It was the hottest of hot messes. And it's my pick as a strong night where somebody was replaced.
They should have done the old Iron Sheik shoot interview story where it goes, Great Khali, you've got positive elevated enzymes. Ah, excellent.
Yes.
No. That's bad. No, Shaney, baby. Positive, good. Negative, bad. Love that story. And that was all the questions. Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your wonderful questions, observations, and variations on calling us all diddlers. If you have any of your own to share, please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com. Now it's time for Reese's Pieces. Hey, you bunch of diddlers, in brackets, and Tom and Adam. Since the talk of the week has been Raw Underground, I have decided to make a Reese's Pieces submission based on shoe fighting. Ooh. Based
shoot,
on the...
not shoe. It sounded like you said shoe there. Shoe fighting.
Shoot. Oh, sorry.
Who fights with a shoe?
Shoot.
Who throws a shoe?
That's it. Sorry, it's only the south of England that pronounce all those pesky words in those letters.
We're just vowels up in the northeast.
Shoe farting. Based on the given options, who would you rather have a shoot fight with? Now we're going to go around the table. Start off with Tom, then Adam, then me. Fastest thought first. Walter or Brock Lesnar?
Walter.
I'd prefer dying via Walter, I've got to say. Matt Riddle or Nick effing Gage?
Riddle.
Hope he's stoned.
Nick effing Gage, what are you on about? What a great way to die. Bloody hell. Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden? In brackets, I know Adam has Osama's number.
Bin Laden. Well, I was trying to think of, it was on a stream or something, about which evil people that I could feasibly take in a fight, and Bin Laden was something like 6'5", 6'6". He was a big lad, but I still reckon because he's gangly, he's all arms and legs. I reckon I could have had him, so I'd like to prove that.
I'll say Saddam. I'll say in the past I'll take Saddam, so WrestleMania 7 can come from its rightful location.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm too much of a Slaughter fan to take on Saddam, so out of respect for Sergeant Slaughter, I'll take on Osama. Dan Severn or Bart Gunn?
Bart Gunn.
Bart Gunn.
Yeah.
Is this all because you've seen Butterbean nearly decapitate him?
No,
So you
he's a
think you
hard
can
man.
take him?
Yes.
He's a hard man. He's just not Dan
Tom's
Severn.
like, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Tom and Butterbean, you know, from the same fight family.
We're pretty much the same body type. Both we've got the semi-deflated bounty castle look going on, so I'm all down for knocking out Bart Gunn.
Dan Severn,
Nutter.
because I've got his shirt. Got nothing. Marco
Is it
Stunt.
a grey shirt covered in sweat?
Oh, why does he not sell it with the pits like prematurely like, printed on? That's
Seven
great.
should sell a T-shirt which has pre-altered sweat gland drawings on it.
And it's got the NWA world title on the belly. The was it when he had the UFC Ultimate title on the shoulder. Oh, and just sweat here.
It's all the sweat.
Marco Stunt and Hornswoggle in a 2-on-1 fight, or Ken Shamrock.
Stunt and Swoggle,
yes,
obviously.
Stunt and Swoggle.
You'd have to be mental.
I'd probably take on Ken
Yeah, of course. Here we go.
because he's old.
Oh,
you know-
mate, no, he's tough.
No, he is.
Yeah,
Honestly,
he watched Impact lately. He's not.
He
He might
left
not
the
be a
W-
spring chicken, but he's like a spring elephant.
Yeah, but-
He can go.
I reckon my logic is Marco and Hornswoggle combined can probably catch me. There's no way Ken's catching us.
Oh, you say that. He's like Logan of the wrestling world. Like he left WWF in '99
What,
and just
dead?
fought. No, he was just fighting. I feel like his whole life was in grayscale when he left WWF in '99 and just fought people and then turned up in Impact.
Nah, I just run because I saw him versus Kimbo.
That's not you can't just run. It's a shoot fight.
Yeah,
Who are you going to
like
fight?
those-
It's not who you're going to outrun. What the hell is this?
We can all go. Right, we're all going to face him and then we're going to run.
Yeah. Well, also, no, I'm going to take him down. I'm going to give him a leg lock.
Work it in. Just you're going to tire him out and then bang.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Then hit with the people's elbow. Mr. Happy or Barry the Shark?
I'm taking Barry.
You take on Barry?
Yeah. Sorry, it's business, isn't it? I'm having Barry.
Oh.
I know his weaknesses. If I pull my hand out, he's buggered.
Well, don't do that.
Oh, kayfabe, innit?
God.
Robbie,
I'm
you
gonna take Barry as well because I don't really want to murder my cat. The only thing that I love. Sorry, Mum and Dad.
I've met both of them. I don't really want to be out of context audio.
But you've only slept with one.
Well, I was going to bring it up. But yeah, I can't be on stream saying I'm killing a cat, so I'll say Barry the Shark.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold?
Hogan.
Hogan.
Hogan. That'd be funny, though, to fight Hogan. Jack the Jobber or Ross Twiddell?
I think Ross. I'll have a go with Ross.
Yeah, I reckon Jack could get it. Jack's nippy, isn't he? And like, I would go
Jack's-
for Ross. I don't think I'd stand a chance against either of them. But Jack, I feel like once he got going, it's going to be bang. He's going to nut me and then kick my head in.
Jack's a
I think
tinderbox. The moment that Jack goes, everyone in this office just run. The moment
Yeah.
that Jack finally snaps, we all need to get out of the country. We're done.
I can't fight Ross. He's too lovely a human being. But there's definitely some pent-up aggression that Jack needs to release, and I'd be like, come on.
That's a pay-per-view
Come on, lad.
match.
I'll snap you like a twiggler. However.
You two, every comment, if I ever click on the podcast, every comment is just like, when is Jack going to snap at Maffew next? People want that. Do it.
The best one was the one where Jack gets properly annoyed. I'm thinking he's joking, and it was with nothing was happening. I think I either agreed with him or just said something, but he misheard or didn't hear and just thought I was being like, look at Jack. And he went, stop it. He's like that one teacher's had enough
I've
of all
not
the
seen
kids
it.
making fun of his surname or something like, I've had enough of you, Maffew. And it was like, oh, great.
You should fight on Twitch.
I'd like that.
Be good, that. Think of all the bits you get.
Scott Steiner or Bobby Lashley? Well, they're pretty much the same as Jack and Ross, so...
Steiner. I'll just go down swinging at the hands of Steiner.
His Shoney shut, didn't it? This week
Yeah.
or last. That's sad. Well, I'm going to beat him up to make him feel better.
Yeah, I'll take on Bobby because I can't kick a man when he's down. Vince or Shane McMahon?
Vince. Have him.
It's got to be
Good night,
Vince.
good
right?
night, Padre.
So as he hits that max stunner, it's all hour. Thank you very much. P.S. Bring back Puppet Jack. He does not deserve to be laying in the office gathering dust and jizz.
Oh, look! He's all...
Oh, he's back!
He's
There he is. I found him
Hey!
upstairs. He's going mouldy, Maffew.
Oh, he
Oh
must
no, that'll be all the
stink.
jizz.
Very sad.
Oh!
He's got the COVID.
No, don't say that. No, no. No.
Great.
See you
Back
later.
home.
Can you do that? Bye.
No,
Jack.
that'll be
Been
the
a
last thing we
while.
ever see. No, you've got me now on a pull string because I have to do what you say. Because if not, you'll just send him out the window and in the room.
I'll post him over to you. I'm sure you're missing him, so I'll
Bit
post him
by
over
bit.
to you.
Oh, thank you. A corona-ridden, jizz-filled
Fine.
puppet.
Oh,
It's exactly what I need right now. We'll make each other feel bad. Cheers, Michael Lackers, a.k.a. Mike Lackers.
I'm glad he spelled it out for you there. I would have got that.
Michael and
Lackers.
Lackers. Oh, I can't say that. Thank you very much for those. If you have any Reese's Pieces to send them to the same place as the mail, which is mailbag@cultaholic.com.
It's Cultaholics.
Wow, what a jizz-filled podcast. And the big question for those still staying all towards the end is, who will Retribution be? Or who should they be? And if you've not been watching Raw, like the rest of the country, judging by the ratings, Retribution were the people who showed up to throw a Molotov cocktail at the big WWE generator like it was one of the missions on Hitman 2, which I've been playing during lockdown. And it's an interesting thing to have somebody being against WWE itself, and it's just going to lead to something somehow. Going to be anti-WWE. So who should be in Retribution? Who should be the leader of Retribution? And where's this going to go? Adam,
Got it figured out.
what are your
I've got
thoughts?
it figured out. Well, the name says it all. What happened just over 3 months ago? They laid a load of people off.
Oh.
They furloughed a bunch of people. I'm not going to go with the obvious one. I'm not going to go with the wrestlers that they laid off. I'm going to go with all of the agents that they furloughed, because you've got some bloody great names in there. So it's headed up by Kurt Angle, who I think was actually laid off, but let's just throw him in. Shh. We've got a great tag team in Billy Kidman and Shane Helms, classic WCW superstars together. They were furloughed. They can still go, probably, maybe. Fit Finlay is in there, 100%. He's the bloody workhorse, probably, if he can still. And finally, Serena Deeb was laid off. So, because there was a woman there as well, you could hear a woman's voice. So Serena Deeb is that woman. And even... you got two options for the bloody Nick Patrick, the crooked ref of the group. Either Mike Chioda, who they actually fired, didn't furlough, or if you want a furloughed one, Scott Armstrong. Have it.
Ooh.
I gave it some thought.
I was going to say, yeah, I can tell you thought about that before the question's been brought
Big
up,
time.
so that's nice. And I think we might as well just end the podcast there, because that's
Yeah,
a good idea. That's probably the best idea they could do. Again, Retribution.
Yeah, and it doesn't involve the problem of firing people and then bringing them back for less money, which I don't like. These were just furloughed people who were going to come back anyway. It would provide some real stinkers, so the matches would be dreadful.
Yeah, and it does fit in with the criteria for Raw, where it's old people from the 90s make an appearance every week. So, yeah, it probably is going to happen. My God. Mike Chioda joins Raw Underground.
That'd be amazing to see. See, my answer is nowhere near as exciting as that. My instinct is just a bunch of NXT lads. And I was looking at the footage quite extensively, and obviously there's a female voice in there. And the name that sprung out to me was Sarah Logan, that I remember she was pregnant, so that's not going to be a thing that happens. But I think it's going to be an assortment of guys from NXT in some way, shape, or form. And I was thinking of who it could be. Now, there was a big lad at the end. The guy who threw the Molotov cocktail was quite a beefy lad. And I have a feeling that's Brendan Vink. I have a feeling that's going to be Brendan Vink. Now, he's one of these guys that WWE is very high on at the moment. I would maybe see it being Brendan Vink being the bigger guy in that group. I could see maybe a Shane Thorne amongst there as well as an excuse to bring Thorne up. And just a couple of other I don't think it's about the names in the group, though. I think it's going to be about the leader. It's going to be somebody possibly like even a Shane McMahon who leads them to basically take over Raw and SmackDown again, like he used to back in the day. And it's that, I think, is what it's the idea of somebody from within the company who's bringing it down. So is it a coincidence that on the week that Shane McMahon returned to do this Raw Underground malarkey was the week where they had a whole bunch of technical problems? Just putting that out there. I think it's Shane McMahon leading a bunch of NXT lads.
I like it. I like really the idea specifically of Thorne and Vink because they were used on WWE TV. Then they went, no, because the ratings are crap. It must be your fault. Get rid of them. And I bet there's other names that aren't popping into my head right now of people who were used on Raw very, very briefly and then told, go away.
I think
so maybe the Retribution is there.
There's like Angelo DeJohnette was another one. I think I got his name right. DeJohnette. He's a guy that was used very, very frequently during the lockdown era of wrestling. It'd be a way to bring him in. But again, I don't think it's about bringing in names. I think it's just going to be to the greater audience, some unknowns, but led by somebody who says, these are guys that you threw out and you said they weren't worth anything. And hey, look at this. You said they're not worth anything. They just buggered up your show last week. Clearly they're worth something. And now see what they do. So I think it's going to be that. I don't think it's about any names. I think it's an assortment of people seeking retribution.
Wow. Well, those are two very well thought out and eloquently put things.
Here we go.
So I'm completely knackered right now. So I'm going to go
You
with
always
the
have to go
complete
last.
stupid
It's not fair.
idea.
5
I know,
doinks.
right? Five.
It's 5 doinks, mate.
The clowns are us are back. I'm going to go with, to tie in NXT with WWE, not the new Nexus, as some people may say, and not the people who've been thrown back to NXT back when they couldn't do the thrown Raw, like you were just saying. I'm going to say it's actually to set up this white-hot match at NXT Take Hour, as they call it up here. And it's actually Pat McAfee's Retribution.
Antivirus.
That's right there, because they want Adam Cole and the other lads to be good guys when they come up to the main roster. And the only way to do that is to have big, bad, beefy Pat McAfee come out as the head diddler of Retribution. He comes out, he's throwing the Molotov cocktail. He didn't actually throw it. If you look back, he actually kicked it from 40 yards away. That's big Pat McAfee. And he comes out and he just comes out and goes, look, you know what? I think wrestling is stupid. I only took this for the money. God, you paid me so much. You paid me better than you pay the wrestlers because I'm famous from something else. Ha, ha, ha. And I'll prove to you that WWE doesn't even need wrestlers. I've got my lads here. And it's Jon Stewart of The Daily Show. You know, that famous SummerSlam guy, the Make-A-Wish Vince Russo himself. He's back, and he's even more old and out of shape than he was previously. The female voice, Snooki, who did that WrestleMania moment. That was way better than it had any right to be. That's her finisher. It's also a trademark. It's also the only move she can do. She's not a trained wrestler. And the point is finally proven by Retribution that people aren't interested in seeing good wrestling. It's never drawn, never will be. It'll never be 1987 again. They're there to see famous people who are cool, who have good Twitters, who have good social medias, who can kick a ball from 40 yards away with a blindfold on. I've been reading Pat McAfee's Wikipedia page while you've been doing War and Peace, and I think that will somehow tie into the idea of Retribution. I don't know how, because I've been making this up as I go along, but I think there'll be big Pat McAfee coming out, and that 3-person team will somehow take on the Undisputed Era when they come up. Wait,
there's 5. There's loads.
That's right.
Is Lawrence Taylor still alive?
Lawrence Taylor
Bring it back.
headlined WrestleMania 11.
Big
O.J.
LT.
Simpson declined to appear at WrestleMania 12.
Father Christmas.
Appeared at Survivor Series 1992.
Big name value.
I've had another idea based a bit on Maffew's one. Fantasy booking brain on. Pat McAfee leading the group is an excellent idea. What if the group is the Undisputed Era sans Adam Cole? What if Pat ends up fighting Cole and the Era turn on Cole? Join up with Pat. That gives us one down. Who's Roderick Strong's wife?
Mrs. Roderick Strong.
Maria Menounos? Is it Maria Menounos?
What? Is it?
Hang on. Roddy's wife is a fighter. Hang on. Roddy, strong wife. Is Marina Shafir. My apologies. Marina Shafir.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's Shafir. Jesse Manduke's best friend. So, off the top of my head, Pat, Bobby, Kyle, Strong, Shafir.
Why are they doing it on Raw, Tom?
I don't know. Bored in the house, bored.
None of us know what day of the week it is because of lockdown anyway. They just cocked it up.
Because they're here to shake things up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That'll do it.
Yeah. I could see that. Retribution for being associated with Adam Cole. And Adam Cole doesn't know until he goes to NXT and was like, where's the lads? Hello, Keith, have you seen Roderick Strong or his wife, Maria Menounos, anywhere? And he goes, I think you should watch WWE Raw on the award-winning WWE Network for just $9.99. And he's all right. And he puts the camera there. He's there looking at it going, that's how wrestlers watch stuff. And then that's how he finds out. And then Pat McAfee's, coming out to the NFL on Fox theme. And that's how you know it's Pat McAfee.
I don't know how Tom came up with a worse idea than Snooki, but he's just smashed it there. Well done.
But then what happens is then Adam Cole leads Lawrence Taylor, Snooki, OJ Simpson as the undesired era, and off to the races we go.
Yeah, and he gets on the mic and goes, "We did it. We did it because of Snooki, and you can take Snooki, and she can go back to whatever she did before this."
Stick it up yours. Nice. Are we done?
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's gone long, this one, hasn't it? Sorry,
certainly
listeners.
certainly has, and we all get long around you two gentlemen. Thank you very much for stepping in at the last minute while those two poor lads, Jack and Ross, formerly of the Undisputed Era, now of Retribution, can have a rest. Pacitti, before we leave, can you tell the fine people what they have to look forward to on the Cultaholic channel involving yourself?
Oh, we've got some cool stuff coming up, actually. We've got a couple of big ranks coming up because obviously, as I say, I'm away next week. So we've got 2 ranks in the next 10 days or so. So we've got every WWE Women's Champion ranked from worst to best, and we've got every Vince McMahon match ranked from worst to best as well. One goes about 35 minutes, one goes about an hour. They're going to be great. And also tune in on Saturday night for the last stream ever. As I watch, we're going to do live reactions to Money in the Bank 2011 over on YouTube, and then head over to twitch.tv/Cultaholic, where we're going to dick about and watch some QVC.
Wow. Tom?
On the podcast, usual daily news podcast, if you don't subscribe, which you do, of course you do, you listen to this. Daily news, every single day, Monday to Friday, classic Raw review, classic SmackDown review. On Wednesday, Desert Island Graps with AJ Gray. That's a thing. It happened at a time recording 2 a.m. We sat and had a chat, and it's one of those where I may have to probably sign for some extra hours this week, the amount of editing of swear words I have to do. So we might just set it out as explicit, but it's a really good chat we do. You can check out Roy Johnson. He was on the show this week, giving us his 3 wrestling matches, loads of good stuff there. If you listen to the podcast, thank you. We're there all the time. Brand new Twitch show on a Friday. By the time this has gone out, you've probably missed the first one, so we've got all the kinks out of it. Next Friday, 2 p.m. British Standard Time. Love You Bye Friday. Start on twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Come and say hello.
Get involved in the Twitch. We're doing loads. We've got Owen's doing shows with Jack. We've got Andrew, one of our editors. Matthew's going to do something. You didn't know that, Matthew, but you are.
You told me that 5 weeks ago. You still responded to what it is I'm doing.
No, half of us haven't been able to do it because we've not been in the office and we don't have the streaming kit. It will happen. It will happen. There's loads.
Twitch. So that was Tom at 2 a.m. Pacitti was on his second fruit pastel by then. I'll be doing nothing but dying and catching up on One Piece, so we can have that to look forward to. But until next time we see you, fine folks watching this at home, please put your hands near the camera. No, not the love heart thing. Oh yeah, you don't watch this far, do you? So you put the hand there, and I count to 3, say what we always say, which is 1, 2, 3. Join us.
Join us.